Magic is integral to the many worlds of Dungeons & Dragons. It's a law of physics, a part of the ecosystem, and a tool for sentient life, all in one. The world of Athos takes this idea and flips it on its head. What if magic was a natural resource? What if it was limited? How would life adapt as a cornerstone of the environment crumbled? Welcome to Critically Misused, a show where we look at misunderstood or underappreciated aspects of D&D. On this episode, we'll be discussing the barren wasteland of the Dark Sun setting, as well as the cleverly designed monsters born from it. The monsters covered in this episode can be found in the 5th edition Spelljammer setting books. The Dark Sun setting is in an even worse state than I implied. Magic here was part of nature, so mages cast their spells by taking energy from the life around them. The ecosystem coped as best it could, but could not withstand the damage of a massive, magic-fueled war. Life on the planet withered away, leaving a scorching dust bowl behind. The few who remain fight tooth and nail for the dwindling oases. Even the most simple arcane magic is kept hidden amongst the elite, since its use relies on further ecological destruction. Without gods to answer to, clerics and paladins are powerless as well. The planet's metal has been completely mined away, trapping its residents in the perpetual Stone Age. And worst of all, there isn't a single large body of water left on the planet's surface. To survive in the doomed world, life needed to adapt. Everything on Athos is large, strong, and endurant. Competition for resources sparked an evolutionary arms race for bigger and tougher beasts. But what makes Dark Sun monsters unique is that nearly all of them have some additional ability that aids in their hunt. Often, that takes the form of psionics, an intelligence-based pseudo-magic that means creatures have to be smart as well as strong. Even if you aren't interested in running the setting, Dark Sun is a masterclass in designing interesting new monsters. The Braxid is the iconic Dark Sun monster, so it's a good place to start. These bug rhinos are as gigantic as the rest of Athos' life, and pack a heavy punch with their acid breath and great club attacks. In addition, they can cast spells such as Fear, Confusion, and Shield through their psionics. These spells were designed to break party frontliners, allowing the Braxid to rush the switchy mages behind them. Confusion also blocks reactions, meaning casters can't cast Shield or absorb elements if the Braxid gets close enough. These creatures make a perfect introduction to the brutal difficulty of Dark Sun, and show the unique appeal of psionic monsters. The Nightmare Beast takes that difficulty a step further. This gargantuan monstrosity lives up to its high CR in terms of health and damage, with a surprising amount of mobility to make it even worse. It can charge through enemies without provoking opportunity attacks, climb up walls, and even teleport up to twice per day. Its other Dark Sun tricks come in the form of a frightening howl and a disintegrating gaze, which keep large mobs back and destroy single targets respectively. Nightmare Beasts are created for one purpose: to pursue their target at all costs and plow through any obstacle in their way. The surviving magicians of Athos create such creatures when they want a single person dead and gone, and by Tempest do these beasts deliver. With their teleportation and charge, they can pass through any walls and armies that might get in the way and attack the leader directly. Perfect for cutting the head off the snake, so to speak. If your players are rich enough to hide in their fortress, you can send a Nightmare Beast at them to fight them at their doorstep. Though the Gage is less powerful than the other monsters here, its unique diet makes it just as interesting. Without the protection of the gods, the influence of the Far Realm has seeped into Athos uncontrollably. From it come these aberrations, who feed off mental energies instead of physical. Like Nothics, the Gage steal memories from the minds of their victims, which sustain them in the place of physical nutrients. They make use of paralysis to capture their targets before probing them with their antennas. In its current version, the Gage is another victim of 5th edition oversimplification. The creature's ecology and lore tied it nicely to the heavily psionic setting of Dark Sun, and made it a threat to nearly everyone there. All that has been left behind, replaced with 2 paragraphs that fail to capture more than the creature's appearance. Since psionics aren't outlined anywhere in any book, the Gage's abilities have been reduced to psychic damage and paralysis. I recommend completely homebrewing a new version of this creature, since the one we have isn't more than a cool with a paint job. When building an encounter around a single powerful enemy, you must consider whether that enemy was designed for fighting a single target or a group. Beholders can fire up to 6 eye beams per round, meaning they can easily spread their damage and effects across an entire party. On the other hand, the Nightmare Beast from before doesn't have the area damage required to destroy an army, but its teleportation and frightening howl mean it doesn't need to. The Brogue can switch back and forth between both. These giants can make melee and range attacks using all 4 of their arms, spreading damage between multiple smaller targets. However, if a creature gets too close, the Brogue can grab it with all 4 hands and begin to tear off its limbs. This rending ability deals massive damage and ignores death saving throws as the victim gets ripped apart. If their allies don't act quickly, or if they don't have allies to begin with, they'll be torn to shreds. Despite its simplicity, a fight with a Brogue leads to some intense moments mid-combat, as the party has to decide whether to deal damage or save their friend. Dark Sun is a clever twist on fantasy as a whole, with a host of thoughtful content to bring it to life. Sadly, very little of what made the setting great has made it to 5th edition, and the details that haven't had their appeal explored. Nevertheless, I hope I've opened your eyes to the wonders of monster design, and how to make creatures that enrich your homebrew world, rather than just exist in it. The bestiaries from 3rd edition and 3.5 still exist, and some kind DMs have already begun the conversions. Feel free to explore more, for the content is still out there. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you've made it this far, consider dropping a like and subscribing, as well as suggesting topics you'd like to see me cover in the comments below. An extra special thanks to the subscribers who've stuck with me during my long break in content. Your support helps motivate me to make these videos in the first place, and your ideas have fueled some of my best content yet. Safe travels, until we meet again.